Before you press play, take a deep breath. This isn't just another video. This is a message, one that's been waiting for you. If you've ever felt lost, tired, forgotten, or simply searching for something real, you're exactly where you need to be. Over the next few moments, let this voice speak not just to your ears, but to your soul. Because what you're about to hear isn't just encouragement. It's a personal whisper from the heart of God. Stay until the end. He has something to say that could change everything.
Before anything else, I want you to know, truly know, that your life is not an accident. It was not shaped by coincidence, nor formed by random events. Your very breath is part of a divine design, a blueprint created in love and sealed with purpose. I have been watching over you from the moment your soul entered this world, guiding your every step, even when you thought you were alone. There has never been a second I wasn't near. And today, as you read these words, it is not by chance. I led you here because I have something to tell you, something your heart has been waiting to hear. My beloved child, I have a plan for you. It is not a vague idea, not an abstract wish. It is a real, living path that I've prepared, step by step, season by season. It is a path lined with joy deeper than happiness, peace stronger than understanding, and blessings greater than you can currently imagine. And yet, I know how heavy life feels right now. I see the doubts in your mind, the fatigue in your soul, the confusion in your eyes. You've asked yourself many times, is this all there is? But I tell you now, this is not the end. You have not been forgotten. You are not unseen. I am here, and I am working. You see the delays as disappointments, but I see them as preparation. You call them obstacles. I call them shaping tools. You wonder why your prayers haven't been answered yet, but I'm already writing the story that will exceed every expectation. I am not just planning to meet your needs. I am preparing to fulfill your deepest desires, the ones you haven't even dared to say out loud. You may look around and feel like others are advancing while you are standing still, but your waiting is not wasted. I'm building your roots deep, so that when you rise, you won't be shaken. The world around you is loud, tells you to chase faster, work harder, prove more. It screams that your worth is tied to your productivity, your beauty, your performance. But I whisper something different. Your worth is not earned. It is given. It is anchored in who I say you are. You are my child, my creation, my masterpiece. I do not love you because of what you've done. I love you because of who you are and because of who I am. My love does not fluctuate with your failures or grow based on your achievements. It is constant. It is whole. It is yours. I know some days it feels like the storms will never end. The weight of what you're carrying seems unbearable. The nights are long. The news is heavy, and the anxiety creeps in silently, wrapping around your thoughts like chains. But I am not distant from your pain. I am not a silent observer. I am your father, and I am here in the center of your storm. I am the calm in your chaos, the anchor in your waves, the light in your tunnel. Even when you don't feel it, I am strengthening you. Even when you cannot see it, I am moving things in your favor. What looks like delay is actually divine alignment. Child, don't believe the lie that says you're not enough. Don't accept the voice that tells you you're too broken, too late, too far gone. Those voices are not mine. I call you worthy. I call you chosen. I call you redeemed. You don't need to fix yourself before coming to me. I want you now in your mess, in your weariness, in your questions. I am not looking for perfection. I'm inviting you into presence, into rest, into a relationship that heals, that strengthens, that transforms. Let go of the idea that you must earn my approval. You already have my heart. You've tried to do things on your own. I saw you fighting in your strength, trying to carry burdens I never asked you to bear. I watched as you poured out for everyone else while ignoring your own exhaustion. I know the loneliness you've hidden behind your smile, but I didn't design you to walk alone. I am your help, your refuge, your source of life. You don't need to figure it all out. I already have. All I ask is this: trust me. Bring me your fears, your confusion, your dreams, your silence. Lay them before me, and in exchange, I will give you peace that goes beyond understanding. A peace that doesn't ignore the storm, but thrives within it. The blessings I have for you are not just for survival, they are for flourishing. I want to prosper you not only in finances or status, but in joy, relationships, purpose, and spiritual depth. I want you to wake up with hope, not dread. I want your heart to feel full, not constantly searching for something more. The life I offer is not built on the fragile promises of this world, but on the eternal foundation of my word. And every promise I've made, I intend to keep. So do not let this world's distractions steal your focus. Its pleasures are fleeting, and its noise is deceptive. Look to me. I am your steady ground. When you walk with me, even the smallest steps carry eternal significance. I will not waste your pain. I will not let your suffering be meaningless. I will take what was meant for harm and turn it into healing. I will restore what you've lost. I will breathe new life into the dreams you buried long ago. Nothing is beyond redemption. Not your past, not your mistakes, not your broken relationships. I am the God of resurrection. I bring dead things back to life. And yes, I know there are voices telling you you're too late, that you missed your chance, that you're stuck, but they are wrong. You are right on time in my plan. Every moment you've lived, every detour, every failure, every tear, it's all part of the tapestry I'm weaving. And in time, you will see the beauty of what I've been creating behind the scenes. Trust the process. Trust my heart. There is more ahead. So much more. Not just for you to endure, but to celebrate. Not just to survive, but to shine. I'm not finished with you, not even close. And in the next part, I want to show you what it truly means to walk in divine peace even when everything around you feels uncertain. There is something waiting for you that the world can't offer. And it's closer than you think. There's a stillness I want to give you. One that the world cannot manufacture and no circumstance can steal. It's not the kind of peace that comes when everything is going right. It's a peace that exists in the middle of the storm. A calm that anchors your soul even when the waves are high and the sky is dark. That's what I want to place inside you. This world will offer you 100 distractions, temporary comforts, and empty reassurances. But none of it will satisfy the deep thirst of your spirit. I made you for more. Not just to exist from one burden to the next. Not just to survive the chaos around you. But to live deeply, freely, and fearlessly, rooted in my love and carried by my promises. You've searched for peace in people, in approval, in control, in success. But none of those things can quiet your soul like I can. When the world grows loud and confusion wraps itself around your thoughts, I am your clarity. I am the voice that cuts through the noise, steady and constant, reminding you of who you are and who I am. I am not far from you. I am not silent. Even when it feels like I am quiet, I am still speaking. Sometimes in whispers, sometimes in silence itself, but always present, always watching, always guiding. You may not see how the pieces fit yet, but I do. I see the full picture while you only see a part. And in that mystery, I ask you not to fear but to lean into me. Let my presence be your home. Let my word be your compass. Let my spirit be your comfort when understanding fails you. It's easy to feel overwhelmed in a world that seems to spin faster every day. The pressures you face are real. Financial stress, broken relationships, deep loss, internal battles no one else sees. But none of these have the power to define your destiny. You were not created to be crushed by life. You were made to walk with me, and with me nothing is impossible. There is no situation too tangled, no heart too shattered, no dream too dead that I cannot restore. When you fall, I don't stand back with disappointment. I rush to lift you up. When you cry, I gather your tears like treasure, for each one matters to me. You are not just another person to me. You are mine. And because you are mine, nothing you go through escapes my notice or happens outside of my care. Sometimes you think peace will come when your circumstances change, when the problems go away, when life becomes easier. But I offer you a peace that begins right here, right now, in the midst of whatever you're facing. You don't have to wait for the storm to end. I am already standing with you in it. The key is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of faith. When you trust me, even your pain becomes a place of intimacy with me. I will not waste your wounds. I will not overlook your effort. You don't need to hide your struggles from me. I see it all already. What I want is for you to invite me into it. Not just as a God who can fix things, but as a father who wants to walk with you through it all. Stop trying to hold everything together on your own. That was never your role. You were never meant to carry burdens that belong to me. That anxiety that gnaws at your heart, that worry that keeps you up at night. Hand it over. Let me hold it. I know you've been hurt before when you trusted others. I know it's hard to believe in something you can't see, but I'm not like them. I am faithful. I don't change. I don't leave when things get hard. I don't break promises. You've been let down by the world, but I'm here to lift you up. You've been misled by false hope, but I am truth itself. Trust doesn't mean you have all the answers, it means you know who does. And I do. I hold the answers, the future, the healing, the breakthrough, and they are all available to you right now if you'll just come closer. My child, I want you to stop living in survival mode. I want you to stop waking up with dread and going to bed with fear. I didn't create you to live in cycles of burnout and despair. I designed you for joy, for peace, for purpose that runs deeper than the world's definitions. You're not here to simply make it through the week. You are here to shine, to love, to reflect my grace in everything you do. And yes, there will be challenges. Yes, there will be valleys and battles. But none of them can cancel what I have declared over your life. My word is not fragile. My promises do not fade with time. When I said I have a plan for you, I meant a real one, crafted uniquely for your life with every gift and every flaw taken into account. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. Their journey is not yours. Their timing is not mine for you. You are right where you need to be for what I am about to do. Do not confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. I often do my deepest work in silence. While you're waiting, I'm building. While you're wondering, I'm weaving. I'm aligning circumstances, developing your character, and clearing paths you don't even see yet. So don't give up when it's quiet. Don't walk away when it feels slow. Faith is not about feeling. It's about staying. Staying rooted in my word. Staying open to my voice. Staying confident in my goodness. Even when everything around you screams otherwise, choose to believe. Choose to trust. Choose to stay. And I promise, what I've started in you, I will finish. I do not abandon what I create. I am not done writing your story. This chapter may be difficult, but the next is filled with light you can't yet imagine. You're not behind. You're not too broken. You haven't missed your moment. I am the God of redemption, the author of comebacks, the master of impossible things. So take a breath. You are safe with me. You are known. You are held. You are loved more deeply than words can ever say. And in the next part, I will show you how everything you've walked through, every scar, every failure, every tear, can become a testimony of my power in your life. This is not the end. This is the beginning of something greater than you have ever dreamed. Let me speak directly to that part of you that's been hurt the most, the part you've hidden even from yourself. I see the pain you don't put into words, the memories you try to forget, the weight you carry so quietly. You've been through more than anyone knows, and you've survived storms that could have broken others. But I didn't let them break you completely. Even in your most shattered moments, I was holding the pieces together. I wasn't absent from your pain. I was right there, weeping with you, sheltering your spirit, and whispering, "Hold on." You may have walked through fire, but not a single flame touched the essence of who you are in me. And now I want to do something new with your wounds. I want to heal them. Not just cover them up, but truly heal them, so that what once brought you pain will one day bring others hope. You often wonder why I allowed certain things to happen. I know those questions burn in your heart. You ask if I was really there, if I truly cared, if I could have stopped it all. And I say to you now, I never left. I never turned away. There are things in this broken world that I do not will, but I redeem. I never desired for you to suffer, but I have always desired to use your suffering to reveal something greater. Every tear you've shed has become a seed. And in time, those seeds will grow into a garden of strength, beauty, and testimony. What once felt like the end will become the beginning of your greatest purpose. What once hurt will become holy. What once shattered you will become sacred in my hands. Child, I know how hard it's been to believe again after being let down. I know your heart has grown cautious, even skeptical. You want to trust, but you've built walls to protect yourself from more disappointment. And yet, here I am, gently asking you to let me in again. Not with force, not with guilt, but with love that waits patiently at the door of your heart. I don't ask you to understand everything. I ask you to trust that I do. I see where your path is headed, and I promise it leads to something beautiful. Not because of who you are alone, but because of who I am within you. You are not walking toward your destruction. You are walking into your destiny. So many people have spoken things over you that were never mine. They told you that you're too weak, too flawed, too late, too broken. They made you feel like you'd never be enough, like you'd never measure up. But they don't have the final word. I do. And my word over you is victory. My declaration over you is freedom. My voice calls you chosen, beloved, and restored. I didn't make you to fit into their molds. I made you to reflect my glory. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you've struggled to find your place. Because your place was never meant to be defined by the world. It was always meant to be found in me. There's a power I've placed inside of you that hasn't even been fully activated yet. You've barely scratched the surface of what I've equipped you for. Don't let fear talk you out of stepping forward. Don't let regret anchor you to the past. I didn't give you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You are capable of more than you know, not because you are perfect, but because I am present. My spirit lives in you, and where my spirit is, there is liberty. That means you're not bound by who you used to be. You are not limited to your old patterns or your past identity. You have access to a new name, a new strength, a new direction. You don't need to prove your worth to me. You don't need to climb your way into my approval. You already have it. You've always had it. And now, I'm inviting you to live like it, to walk like someone who knows they're loved, to speak like someone who knows they carry truth, to rise like someone who knows they were made to soar. I know the mountain ahead looks tall, but I gave you feet for climbing. I know the path looks lonely, but I've already placed companions along the way. I know the future looks uncertain, but I've already gone before you and prepared it. Sometimes the healing comes slowly, not because I'm withholding, but because I'm building something lasting. Quick fixes can fall apart, but what I'm doing in you will endure. So if you still feel broken, know that healing is still in progress. If you still feel tired, know that strength is coming. If you still feel unseen, know that I am watching every moment with love beyond comprehension. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Your story is not over, it's being written. And I am not a careless author. Every sentence matters. Every moment builds towards something that will make others stand in awe, not of you, but of what I've done through you. So don't be ashamed of your past. Don't let guilt silence your voice. Your story, yes, even the painful chapters, will bring light to others walking through darkness. I will use the very things that nearly destroyed you to deliver healing to those who think they can't be redeemed. That's how I work. I take the least expected and turn them into vessels of hope. I take broken hearts and make them homes for my presence. I take ashes and make them beautiful. You don't have to have it all figured out to take the next step. Just take it with me. You're not starting over alone. I'm rebuilding with you, brick by brick, day by day. And the foundation we're laying now is unshakable. No storm can knock down what we build together. My child, I know it's been hard, but don't give up. Don't retreat. You're closer than you think to the breakthrough you've prayed for. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep surrendering. I haven't brought you this far just to leave you now. I haven't planted hope in your heart only to let it die. I am the God who finishes what he starts. And what I've begun in you will come to completion in glory. And in the next part, I will take you deeper into your identity, not the one given to you by others, but the one I've spoken over you since before you were born. A truth that will set you free, redefine how you see yourself, and unlock doors you didn't even know were closed. You've spent so much of your life trying to figure out who you are, wondering if you're enough, trying to earn your place. attempting to fit into categories the world has created. But today, I want to strip away every false label that's been placed on you and remind you of the identity I gave you before the foundations of the world. You are not defined by your past mistakes, your worst moments, or the opinions of others. You are not your job, your status, your success, or your failure. You are mine. Before you took your first breath, I called you by name. Before you even had the chance to fall, I had already chosen to love you. Not for what you would do, but for who you are, my creation, my beloved, my reflection. The world tries to give you an identity rooted in comparison. It wants you to constantly measure yourself against others. How much you've achieved, how much you earn, how attractive you look, how far ahead you seem. But I never asked you to compete with anyone. I made you uniquely, with a purpose that cannot be replicated. Your gifts, your voice, your story, they are one of a kind. I didn't make you to blend in. I made you to shine with the light I've placed inside of you. So stop letting the world tell you who you are. Let me define you. Let my word be the mirror you look into each day. You are not a failure, even if you've fallen. You are not broken beyond repair, even if you feel shattered. You are not disqualified, even if others have walked away. In my eyes, you are forgiven. You are whole. You are chosen. I don't love you because you always get it right. I love you because you are mine. My grace is not given to the perfect, but to the willing. And if you are willing to receive it, then every shameful thought, every regret, every lie you've believed about yourself can be washed away in a moment. I have not come to condemn you. I have come to call you by your true name. Child of God, heir of grace, vessel of glory. Your identity in me is not fragile. It is not based on how you feel today or what you accomplished yesterday. It is eternal, sealed by my promise and confirmed by my spirit. The enemy wants you to question it. He wants to whisper lies that say you're too sinful, too late, too far gone. He wants to confuse you, to tie your worth to your mistakes. But I speak louder. I say you are redeemed. I say you are clean. I say you are made new. Your sins do not surprise me. I already carried them on the cross. I already buried them in the tomb. And when I rose again, I broke the power they had over you. So stop letting guilt be your guide. Stop letting shame shape your decisions. I have already paid the price for your freedom. You are no longer a prisoner, you are free. Free to dream again, to love again, to believe again. You don't need to live under the shadow of condemnation. You don't need to earn a second chance, I already gave it to you. And this time, I want you to walk like someone who knows they've been forgiven. Not in pride, but in peace. Not in fear, but in faith. The past may have shaped you, but it doesn't define you. I do. Child, I see the way you question your worth when things don't go as planned. I see how hard you try to prove yourself, to be good enough, smart enough, spiritual enough. But I'm not measuring you by your performance. I'm loving you in your process. I'm not waiting at the finish line with approval. I'm walking beside you through every step. Every stumble you've made, every lesson you've learned, every moment you've doubted yourself. I've been there, guiding you gently, never letting go. My love is not a reward for good behavior. It is the foundation you're meant to build your life upon. You were never meant to live under the pressure of perfection. You were created for presence, mine. It's not about earning more love. It's about realizing you already have it. So let go of the exhausting chase to be someone else. You are already who I called you to be, and I will finish the work I started in you. I'm not disappointed in your progress. I'm invested in your future. Even when you feel behind, I am still ahead, preparing the way. Even when you feel weak, I am your strength. Even when you feel lost, I am your shepherd. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to stay close to the one who does. Let this truth sink deep. You are not ordinary. You carry my spirit. You walk with my authority. You breathe with my power inside of you. When you speak my word, darkness trembles. When you walk in obedience, heaven rejoices. You are not just another person in the crowd. You are a royal priesthood, a chosen nation, a light in the world. You may feel small at times, but you are filled with eternal purpose. And when you finally begin to see yourself the way I see you, you will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will believe differently. I know it's hard to see yourself through my eyes when all you've ever heard are voices of criticism and comparison. But it's time to silence those voices. It's time to tune your heart to mine. I am not calling you to be someone else. I'm calling you to be fully, deeply, unapologetically you, the version of you I created, not the version the world demands. And when you live from that identity, chains fall off. Fear loses its grip. The opinions of others shrink in the light of my truth. So come, my child, and step into who you truly are. Not what your past says, not what people say, but what I say. And what I say is this: you are loved, chosen, anointed, redeemed, and sent into the world not to blend in, but to change it. You are here on purpose, for a purpose, and that purpose will not be stopped. Not by doubt, not by fear, not by failure. And in the next part, I will show you how to walk in that purpose with confidence, how to face adversity with peace, and how to turn your identity into a weapon of light that pierces every darkness you encounter. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be mine. Now that you know who you are in me, I want to show you what that identity looks like in action. I didn't just call you to be. I've called you to move, to live, to walk in a purpose that transforms not only your own life but the lives of those around you. Your purpose is not something fragile that can be stolen. It's not something you find only when everything is going right. Your purpose lives even in your most confusing seasons. It breathes through the ordinary. It rises through adversity. It is not waiting for a perfect moment. It is unfolding in the very moment you're living now. You may not always see it clearly, but I do. And I am using everything, yes, everything, for your good. Sometimes you think your purpose must be something grand, something visible, something that draws the praise of others. But I remind you, my kingdom does not work like the world's systems. I see faithfulness in the quiet places. I reward the unseen sacrifices. I notice every act of kindness, every choice to forgive, every prayer whispered in the dark. Purpose is not always loud. Sometimes it's steady. Sometimes it's simply choosing love when bitterness would be easier. Sometimes it's waking up one more day and saying, God, I still believe you're with me. And in that faith, even when it feels small, I am building a legacy. You are not behind. You haven't missed your calling. You're not too old, too broken, too far from the path. Every step you've taken, every wrong turn, every lesson learned has led you here. And here is exactly where I want to meet you. Not to shame you for the detours, but to guide you forward with fresh vision and strength. I use imperfect people to do eternal things. I always have. I always will. Your weakness is not a disqualification. It's a doorway for my power to shine through. So stop waiting until you feel ready. You were never meant to walk this road alone. I am your guide. I am your strength. I am the one who finishes what I begin. When you walk in my purpose, you'll begin to see life through a different lens. You'll realize that setbacks are not punishments. They're setups for something greater. Closed doors are not rejections. They are redirections toward paths you wouldn't have chosen, but I had already planned. Every no has purpose. Every delay is filled with my intention. I know it's hard to trust what you can't see, but I am inviting you to let go of control and let me lead. You don't need to know the full picture to move forward. You just need to take the next step in faith. I am not asking you to run. I'm asking you to walk with me. One step, one moment, one decision at a time. And as you do, you will begin to see that peace is not found in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of surrender. When you surrender your expectations, your timelines, your fears, you make space for my spirit to move freely within you. That's when miracles happen. Not because you forced them, but because you trusted me enough to let go. Faith is not about fixing everything. It's about following me even when everything feels uncertain. That's where your purpose is forged. In trust, in obedience, in intimacy with me. I've given you gifts not to impress others, but to serve them. I've placed a light inside of you, not so you can be seen, but so others can find their way. You are not a reservoir meant to store everything for yourself. You are a river, meant to flow with grace, hope, and love to everyone you meet. Don't underestimate what I can do through your simple yes. When you say yes to me, walls fall, chains break, hearts soften, and you become part of something eternal. Even your smallest acts of faith ripple far beyond what you see. And yes, there will be days when you don't feel strong. Days when your purpose seems distant and your passion feels drained. That doesn't mean you've failed. That means you're human. But you're not walking alone. When you feel empty, I will fill you. When you are weak, I will carry you. When you lose sight of your purpose, I will remind you why you started. This journey is not about being perfect, it's about staying close. Every time you return to me, you return to alignment. And when you're aligned with me, even your pain becomes a pathway to power. Stop believing that purpose always looks like progress. Sometimes it looks like persistence. Sometimes it looks like resting in me when the world demands performance. Sometimes it looks like loving when you're hurting, forgiving when you're misunderstood, worshiping when you're weary. That is purpose in motion. That is power wrapped in humility. That is the kind of life I bless, not with fleeting comfort, but with eternal joy. I am more interested in who you're becoming than what you're achieving. And who you are becoming with me is far greater than you yet realize. I know the journey can feel long. I know you've prayed for things that haven't happened yet. But don't let the weight drain your hope. Let it deepen your trust. I have not forgotten a single word you've spoken in faith. I have stored every tear, every longing, every dream in the palm of my hand. And at the right time, in the perfect moment, I will release what has been prepared for you. But in the meantime, don't stop living. Don't pause your purpose while you wait for the breakthrough. Your life is not on hold, it's unfolding. So wake up each day with this truth in your heart. You are walking in purpose, even if it doesn't feel dramatic. You are fulfilling destiny, even when the steps seem small. I am with you. I am working. I am weaving every detail into a masterpiece that will bring glory to my name and joy to your soul. You are not just passing time, you are building eternity. Every moment you choose love over fear, faith over doubt, obedience over ease, you are stepping deeper into who I created you to be. And in the next part, I will teach you how to face adversity with strength. Not the strength the world gives, but the kind that flows from my spirit within you. Because my child, your greatest battles will become your greatest testimonies, and I will be your victory in every one of them. I see the battles you're fighting, the ones everyone can see and the ones no one knows about. I see the strength it takes for you to get out of bed some days, to keep going when everything inside you feels worn thin. I know what it feels like to carry invisible burdens, to smile through pain, to fight through fear that never seems to fade. And today, I want to remind you that you are not fighting alone. You were never meant to carry these battles in your own strength. I am here, and I am not watching from a distance. I am in the battle with you, fighting beside you, placing my strength where yours is failing, and breathing courage into your soul when your hope begins to waver. You've been taught to see adversity as a sign that something is wrong, as if opposition means failure. But I want you to see it differently. The battle is not the absence of my blessing, it's often the sign of it. The enemy doesn't attack what is invaluable. The resistance you feel is not because you are weak. It's because you are advancing. You are growing. You are becoming a threat to darkness simply by standing in the truth I've spoken over you. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it hurts. But pain is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of something deeper. Your struggle is not a punishment. It's a preparation. I'm using the fire to refine you, not to destroy you. I'm using the pressure to shape you, not to crush you. And while the world may measure victory by comfort, I measure it by endurance. I see victory every time you refuse to give up. I see it every time you cry and still believe. Every time you take one more step when everything in you says stop. That is victory. That is strength. That is faith. And I honor it. I multiply it. I build upon it. When you face adversity, don't look at the size of the problem. Look at the size of your God. I am bigger than your debt, your diagnosis, your doubt. I am stronger than your weakness, wiser than your confusion, closer than your breath. There is no wall I cannot break, no enemy I cannot silence, no weapon formed against you that will prevail. I am not intimidated by your circumstances, and neither should you be. You were made to overcome, not because of who you are alone, but because of who I am in you. Let me teach you how to fight, not with fear, but with faith. Not with fists, but with truth. The enemy wants to exhaust you, distract you, deceive you. He wants you to believe that your battles are signs of abandonment. But hear me now, you are not abandoned. You are appointed. You are anointed for this fight, and I have already equipped you with everything you need. My word is your weapon. My spirit is your shield. My promises are your armor. Stand firm even when you're trembling. Speak life, even when your voice shakes. Declare victory, even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. Because faith is not about seeing results. It's about standing on the truth before the results appear. You don't need to wait until you feel brave to move forward. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's obedience in the presence of fear. It's choosing to trust me when nothing makes sense. It's refusing to retreat, even when retreat looks tempting. You are stronger than you know, because I am strengthening you in places you cannot see. Even when you feel weak, I am pouring supernatural endurance into your spirit. Even when you are weary, I am lifting your arms, holding your heart, whispering, keep going. You're closer than you think. You've asked me to remove the struggle, but sometimes the greater miracle is what I do in you through it. I'm building resilience. I'm teaching you to rely on me in a way comfort never could. In the valleys, I show you my nearness. In the storms, I reveal my power. In the silence, I draw you closer. These moments may not feel miraculous, but they are sacred. You are not forgotten in the dark. You are being formed in it. So don't curse the process. Don't rush to escape the pain. Let it do its work. Let it dig deep so your roots grow strong. Let it strip away the lies that have kept you small. Let it awaken the authority I've placed in you since the beginning. There is a roar inside of you that adversity will not silence. It will awaken it. There is a fire in your soul that hardship cannot extinguish. It will only make it burn brighter. You are not breaking, you are breaking through. And yes, I know there are days when you wonder if it's all worth it. When the weight feels too heavy, when the silence feels endless. But I promise you, I see it all. Every sleepless night, every prayer prayed through tears, every moment you chose to believe when belief was the hardest choice. None of it is wasted. I am collecting every sacrifice, and I am building something eternal from it. In time, you will see it. You will understand why it had to be this way. But even now, before the answer, I want you to know, I am proud of you. I delight in your faith. I rejoice in your growth. You are becoming more than you know. You are not just surviving, you are being sanctified. You are not just enduring, you are evolving into someone unshakable. And one day, you will look back and see that this battle was the birthplace of your boldest testimony. You'll tell others what I did for you. You'll speak with a voice rooted in real experience. And your story will set others free. So stand up, take heart, lift your eyes. The battle is not the end. It is the proving ground for a greater glory. I am with you, I am for you, and I am fighting through you. Your victory is not coming, it's already written. And in the next part, I will show you how to live in that victory daily. Not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Because my child, you were not created for defeat. You were made to walk in power, to dwell in peace, and to move in the authority of my spirit. Victory isn't just a moment, it's a mindset. It's not just what happens at the end of the battle. It's how you carry yourself through it. It's how you speak when you're still surrounded by uncertainty. It's how you think when the odds are stacked against you. I didn't design victory to be something distant, something you have to chase your whole life. I created it to be your reality, right now, right where you are, in the midst of everything that feels unresolved. You are not walking toward victory. You're walking from it. Because when my son conquered death, when he rose from the grave, he didn't just win for himself. He won for you. His victory became your inheritance. His power became your access. His spirit became your constant companion. That means you don't have to live beneath your circumstances anymore. You don't have to walk around defeated by your emotions, your past, or the opinions of others. I have placed within you the authority to shift atmospheres, to break strongholds, to pray boldly and live freely. You don't need to beg for what I've already given. You don't need to plead for peace. I've already placed it within your reach. You don't need to wonder if you're loved or question if you're chosen. The cross already settled that. The empty tomb already sealed it. Now I want you to live like it. Living in victory doesn't mean your life will be free of problems. It means your problems no longer define you. It means you don't crumble under pressure because you're standing on a rock that never moves. It means you don't panic when things fall apart because you know I'm holding every broken piece. It means you don't let fear speak louder than my voice. You don't let doubt steal what faith has promised. You don't let defeat rewrite a story I've already redeemed. Every time you choose joy when anxiety tries to creep in, you're living in victory. Every time you forgive when it would be easier to hold a grudge, you're living in victory. Every time you speak hope into a hopeless situation, every time you stand in faith instead of shrinking in fear, you are not just surviving, you're winning. This is what I meant when I said you are more than a conqueror. You don't just overcome, you rise above. You carry peace into chaos. You carry light into darkness. You carry power not from yourself, but from my spirit that lives inside of you. My child, I know the world around you tries to drown out this truth. I know it's tempting to believe what you feel over what I've said. But victory is not a feeling. It's a fact rooted in my finished work. It's not something that disappears when your circumstances change. It's something that remains even when the ground beneath you shakes. Because I don't base your victory on your performance. I base it on my promise. And my promises are unbreakable. Stop waiting for everything around you to settle before you claim what I've already placed in your hands. The enemy wants you distracted, discouraged, disoriented. He wants you believing that the struggle means you're failing. But here's the truth. The struggle means you're advancing. It means you're taking territory. It means you're no longer living in agreement with fear, shame, or mediocrity. And that makes you dangerous to the darkness. You are not a victim of your story. You are a vessel of glory. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are marked by what happened for you at the cross. And now, because of that divine exchange, you carry an unshakable hope. A hope that does not fade in the night. A hope that does not shrink in the storm. A hope that reminds you, even when the enemy lies, that you are already standing on holy ground. And this victory I speak of, it touches every area of your life. Not just your soul, but your thoughts, your relationships, your future. I want to invade every space with my power and presence. I want you to think like someone who is free, to speak like someone who knows their worth, to plan like someone who knows I've already gone ahead of them. There is no part of your life that I'm not interested in redeeming. No moment too small, no dream too big. You were made to live fully alive. Not half awake, not weighed down, not fearful of tomorrow, but rooted in faith, rising in purpose, and resting in my love. And yes, you'll face opposition. You'll encounter voices that try to pull you back into old thinking. But now you have the power to recognize the lies and replace them with truth. You know who you are. You know whose you are. And every step you take with that truth echoing in your heart is a step that makes the enemy tremble. You are no longer defenseless. You are equipped. You are armed with wisdom, clothed in righteousness, shielded by grace. So don't walk like a slave when I've called you free. Don't bow your head in shame when I've crowned you with honor. Don't shrink back when I've called you to rise. My spirit within you is not one of timidity. It is one of power, love, and clarity. And when you live with that spirit leading you, there is nothing too big for you to face. No mountain too high, no battle too fierce, no future too uncertain, because you are not alone. You never were, and you never will be. So lift your head, square your shoulders, take each step knowing heaven is backing you. Walk into rooms knowing you carry something eternal. Speak into situations with the authority of someone who's been in the presence of the King. You are not here by accident. You are here by assignment. And your life, lived boldly in me, is the enemy's worst nightmare and the world's greatest light. And in the next part, I will show you what it means to carry that light into the lives of others, to live not just in victory, but in impact. Because you weren't just saved to survive. You were chosen to shine. You were never meant to keep this light to yourself. What I've poured into you, I now want to pour through you. The healing you've received, the comfort I've wrapped around your heart, the truths I've whispered in your darkness. They were not given only for you. They were entrusted to you so that others might find their way through the same wilderness. You are not just a recipient of grace. You are a vessel of it, a carrier of hope, a reflection of my love, a living reminder to the world that light always finds a way to shine, even in the most unexpected places. There are people around you who are silently breaking. They smile on the outside but carry pain too deep for words. You may pass them every day and never realize how close they are to giving up. But I see them, I know them, and I've placed you in their path for a reason. You are my answer to prayers they haven't even spoken yet. You are my embrace to a heart that has forgotten what kindness feels like. You are the voice that will speak hope where silence has become too loud. Let go of the idea that impact is measured by platforms or applause. True influence is quiet, humble, consistent. It happens in the moments when no one's watching, when you choose compassion over criticism, when you listen without judgment, when you show up when no one else does. It happens when you speak words of life over someone who's only ever heard condemnation. When you forgive someone who never asked for it. When you extend grace instead of revenge. That is what it means to shine. That is how you change the world, one act of love at a time. And make no mistake, love is the most powerful force you carry. Not love that demands something in return, not love that's filtered through conditions, but the kind of love I have for you, sacrificial, unshakable, unending. When you love like that, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Walls fall, hearts open, hope rises. People may not remember every word you say, but they will remember how you made them feel. Let them feel my presence through you. Let them hear my voice in your kindness. See my grace in your patience. Feel my touch in your warmth. I am not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be available. I will use your story, the broken parts, the healed parts, the messy in-between, not to impress, but to impact. People don't need polished answers. They need real connection. They need someone who's walked through the fire and come out carrying peace. Someone who's been in the pit but knows the way out. That someone is you. You are a light not because you have all the answers, but because you walk with the one who is the answer. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. When you walk into a room, you bring me with you. When you speak truth in love, you release heaven into that space. You may feel ordinary, but the spirit inside you is anything but. And I will take your ordinary moments and breathe eternal purpose into them. You don't have to force anything. Just be who I made you to be. Live loved, and love freely. That alone will move mountains. There will be times when you feel overlooked, when it seems like your efforts go unnoticed. But know this, nothing done in love is ever wasted. I see it all, and I reward what is done in secret with blessings that no one can steal. Keep sowing kindness even when it's not returned. Keep showing up even when you're tired. Keep choosing integrity even when no one's watching. You are not just reflecting light, you are becoming it. And when the world pushes back, when darkness tries to intimidate you, don't be afraid. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to fight to be strong. Just stay close to me, and your life will carry a fragrance the world can't ignore. You will be a living invitation to something more, something holy, something eternal. So speak when I prompt you. Act when I nudge your heart. Love when it's inconvenient. Give when it's costly. Serve when it's uncomfortable. These are the moments heaven leans in. These are the moments I smile, because my kingdom is being built, not by mighty voices, but by faithful hearts. And yours is one of them. You don't have to wait until you feel qualified to begin. I've already qualified you. The spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in you. That means you carry resurrection power in your daily life. Not just to revive your own spirit, but to awaken hope in others. There is resurrection in your words, in your encouragement, in your gentleness, in your willingness to stop, to see, to care. You may never see the full impact of your light on this side of eternity. But one day, you'll stand with me and see every ripple, every life touched, every chain broken, Every soul awakened by something you did in faith, in obedience, in love. And in that moment you'll know it was worth it. Every small step, every quiet act, every whispered prayer. So live each day knowing you are part of something greater. You are not just going through life, you are carrying heaven into it. You are not just passing time, you are planting eternity. You are not just surviving, you are shining. And in the next part, I will show you how to sustain that light even when the night feels long. How to keep burning when the fire feels dim. How to stay strong when your heart feels tired. Because the light in you, my child, was not meant to flicker. It was meant to blaze. There will be days when the fire inside you feels like it's fading. Days when the light you once carried so boldly seems distant. When passion becomes fatigue and joy feels like a memory. You wake up tired, not just in body, but in spirit. The weight of life presses harder, and your heart wonders if it's worth continuing to shine. But I see you. I understand. Even the brightest flames flicker. Even the strongest warriors grow weary. And that's why I've never asked you to be your own source of light. I only asked you to stay connected to me, the one who fuels the flame. You are not failing just because you feel exhausted. You are not weak because you're struggling. What you're facing is real. And I'm not disappointed in your weariness. I'm ready to meet you in it. I never designed your faith to be a constant high. I never promised you wouldn't feel the weight of life. But I did promise that I would never leave you in it. I did promise that when you feel empty, I would fill you. When you feel forgotten, I would call you by name. When you feel cold, I would surround you with warmth the world cannot replicate. This is the part of the journey where roots grow deeper. When the surface is quiet, when the world is moving fast and your soul feels slow, that's where I do some of my most beautiful work. Don't be fooled by silence. Don't be discouraged by stillness. Just because the fire isn't loud doesn't mean it's gone. Sometimes it burns low only to burn longer. Sometimes I quiet the flame so I can strengthen its core. This isn't the end of your fire. It's the deepening of it. Let go of the pressure to perform your faith. You don't have to manufacture passion to be close to me. You don't have to feel on fire to be faithful. What matters most in these moments is not how loudly you burn, but that you don't walk away. Even the faintest glow is enough for me to breathe upon. Even the smallest spark can turn into a blaze again. So if all you can do today is whisper my name, that's enough. If all you can offer is your tired presence, that's all I need to work with. I never asked for perfection. I asked for honesty. I asked for proximity. And you're here, aren't you? That alone moves my heart. You don't need to wait for everything in you to feel strong again before you draw close. In fact, it's in your weakest moments that I come closest. I am near to the brokenhearted, and I save those who are crushed in spirit. So bring me your weariness. Bring me your sighs. Bring me the prayers you can't finish because the tears fall first. I understand every one of them. Not one is wasted. Not one is lost. I gather them gently, hold them tightly, and respond with tenderness that will rebuild what's breaking inside you. Do not believe the lie that your fire was a phase, or that the joy you once knew is gone for good. I haven't changed, and neither has your purpose. What you're feeling is not disconnection. It's transformation. You are being stretched, not abandoned. You are being refined, not rejected. Sometimes I quiet the noise around you so that you'll learn to hear me in the stillness. Sometimes I dim the lights around you so that you'll learn to see my glow within you. You are not lost, you are being led. And what I'm leading you toward will require a deeper dependence than before. The world glorifies constant motion, but I value sacred pauses. You think your slowness means you're falling behind, but I say your stillness is making room for strength. You think your struggle means you're not spiritual enough, but I say your weakness is making space for my power. I am not just with you when you're strong. I am especially with you when you're not. So stop measuring your worth by how on fire you feel. You are not a feeling. You are a flame I lit with purpose, and I will not let it go out. Rest, child. Not because you're giving up, but because you're giving in to my rhythm, to my timing, to my care. Let me tend to your flame. Let me restore your joy, not by forcing you to push harder, but by inviting you to fall softer into my presence. I am your resting place. I am your renewal. I am your source, not your taskmaster. You don't have to earn this rest. You only have to receive it. And while you rest, I am still working. I'm stirring things inside you, awakening hope again, rebuilding what was torn. I'm placing new dreams in the ashes of your old ones. I'm reigniting vision that had grown dim. I'm aligning people, preparing opportunities, opening doors you don't even know exist yet. You may be still, but heaven is not. You may be waiting, but I am moving. So hold on. The fire may be low, but it is not out. And it is enough. When you rise again, and you will, I want you to know it wasn't your strength that carried you. It was my grace. And when that grace fills you, when the wind of my spirit fans the embers again, your light will burn brighter than before. Not because you tried harder, but because you learned to rest deeper. This is not the end of your flame. It's the start of something unshakable. And in the next part, I will show you how to walk through the seasons of uncertainty with confidence, how to trust my timing when life feels delayed, and how to build your life on faith that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on the solid truth of who I am. Waiting is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It tests your patience, it stretches your faith, and it challenges every part of you that wants to see results now. You pray, you hope, you believe, but the silence lingers longer than expected. The doors don't open when you thought they would. The breakthrough takes longer than you planned. And somewhere in that waiting, doubt tries to whisper that I've forgotten you. But I haven't. I see you. I hear you. I remember every word you've spoken in faith. I remember every dream you've dared to dream. And I am not ignoring you. I am preparing something far greater than you can imagine. My child, I need you to understand this. Delay does not mean denial. The waiting season is not punishment. It's protection. It's preparation. I'm not withholding blessings from you. I'm getting you ready to carry them. Sometimes I wait because what I want to give you requires stronger roots. I'm not interested in giving you something that will crush you. I'm building your capacity, deepening your character, expanding your perspective. I'm showing you how to trust me even when the path is unclear. Because if you can trust me in the dark, you will walk with even more power in the light. You don't see all that I'm orchestrating behind the scenes, but I do. I see how one yes connects to another, how a delay in one area is lining up perfect timing in another. I see how your growth in silence is strengthening your voice for the moment you'll need it most. I'm weaving a masterpiece, and while it may feel like nothing is happening, everything is being aligned with precision. I'm not just focused on the outcome. I'm focused on your soul. I'm not just building your future. I'm building you. Waiting is not wasted when it's placed in my hands. In fact, some of your most profound breakthroughs will come not from the moment the answer arrives, but from who you become in the waiting. In those quiet, tear-stained moments when you choose to believe anyway, that's where miracles begin. When you keep showing up, even when nothing changes. When you hold on to hope, even when it feels fragile. When you decide to trust me not because you see it, but because you know me, that's faith. And faith is never invisible to heaven. You may feel like time is slipping away, like others are passing you by, like your opportunity is shrinking. But my timing is not your timing. I'm not in a hurry, and I'm never late. What I start, I finish. What I promise, I fulfill. What I've spoken over your life is still alive. It's not too late. You haven't missed it. The detours didn't disqualify you. The delays didn't erase what I've planned. If I've called you, I will complete the work in you. So don't let frustration guide your decisions. Don't let impatience push you ahead of my pace. I know how much you want to move forward, but moving ahead of me can cost you more than you know. When you run ahead of my timing, you step into a place I haven't gone yet. But when you walk with me, you walk in peace, even in the unknown. When you let me set the pace, you'll see doors open that no man can shut. You'll witness divine connections, unexpected favor, supernatural alignment. But it only comes when you wait well, not passively, but actively. Waiting in worship, waiting in obedience, waiting in trust. I never waste a season, and I especially don't waste the ones that feel slow. These are the places where your faith gains muscle, where your hope learns endurance, where your spirit becomes anchored in who I am rather than what I do. The longer you wait in faith, the deeper your roots grow. And when the rain finally comes, you won't just bloom, you'll thrive. You won't just rise. You'll carry something the world desperately needs. Wisdom, perspective, compassion, resilience. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't just experience blessings, but becomes one. I know it's tempting to compare your journey to others, to measure your progress by the timelines of those around you. But their path is not your path. Their timing is not your timing. What I'm doing in you is unique, intentional, and eternal. Trust that. Let their progress inspire you, but never let it make you question what I'm doing in your life. Your story is still unfolding. Your chapter is still being written, and I am not done with you. When the world tells you to hustle harder, I'm inviting you to rest deeper. When the world tells you that time is running out, I'm reminding you that I am the God who created time, and I know exactly how to redeem it. You haven't lost anything that I can't restore. And when I restore, I don't just give back, I multiply. I make up for the years that felt barren. I restore what was stolen. I breathe life into what looked dead. So wait with expectation. Wait with hope. Wait with worship on your lips and faith in your steps. Even now, I am closer than you think. Closer than the next breath. Closer than the dream that keeps you up at night. And I am working. Quietly, steadily, faithfully. I'm building bridges you haven't walked on yet. I'm raising up people who will bless you. I'm softening hearts that seemed unreachable. I'm preparing things for you and preparing you for them. When it all comes together, you will look back and understand. You'll see that the waiting wasn't in vain. It was sacred. And through it, I made you unshakable. And in the next part, I will show you how to keep believing when doubt knocks at your door, how to protect your hope when disappointment tries to settle in, and how to keep your heart soft even after seasons of silence. Because your faith, my beloved child, is not fragile. It's the very ground where miracles are born. Doubt doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't mean your faith is broken. It doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. It means you're walking through a world where not everything makes sense, where prayers sometimes seem unanswered, and where what you feel doesn't always align with what you believe. I see your heart, the part of you that wants to trust, even when your thoughts are filled with questions. I see how hard it is to hold on when the answers don't come. But child, your faith is not fragile because of your doubt. It is growing because you keep choosing to believe anyway. You don't need to hide your doubts from me. I'm not afraid of your questions. I welcome them. I never asked you to come to me with perfection. I asked you to come honestly. And honesty is the beginning of transformation. When you bring your confusion, your fear, your frustration into my presence, you make room for truth to replace the lies. You make room for my peace to meet your uncertainty. You make space for me to remind you who I am. Not just when things are easy, but especially when they are not. I know how disappointment tries to creep in. It starts quietly. A prayer that wasn't answered the way you expected. A door that closed when you thought it should open. A silence that lingered longer than your strength could bear. And before you realize it, the hope you once carried so confidently feels distant, fragile, flickering. But I want you to hear me clearly. Disappointment is not the end. It's not a dead end, it's a turning point. It's a place where faith digs deeper, where your roots reach beyond surface hope and tap into the eternal well of my character. Hope that depends on outcomes is easily broken, but hope rooted in me is unshakable. I never promised life without pain, but I did promise my presence in it. I never said you wouldn't face delays, but I did promise that nothing would be wasted. Every disappointment you've felt has been held in my hands, not to break you, but to build something greater within you. I'm not the author of your pain, but I am the redeemer of it. I will take what hurt you and turn it into healing, not just for you but for others, because that's what I do. I bring beauty from ashes. I bring purpose from pain. I bring resurrection from what looked like ruin. And in the middle of all this, I want to talk about your heart. Because when life hurts, the heart is the first to harden. You try to protect yourself, to guard against future pain. But in doing so, you also close yourself off from joy. You build walls to keep the sadness out, but those same walls block love, peace, and light. I'm not asking you to be naive or unwise. I'm asking you to remain soft, to stay open, to let my love reach you again and again. A soft heart is not a weak one. In fact, it's the strongest kind, because it takes courage to feel, takes strength to hope again. It takes faith to believe that after everything, something beautiful can still come. Do not let bitterness take root. I know it tries. When people betray you, when life disappoints you, when your own choices leave scars, you begin to close off parts of your soul. But bitterness is a poison that drains your joy and clouds your vision. Let it go. Not because what happened didn't matter, but because it no longer has the right to define you. You are not the result of what they did. You are the result of what I did for you. And I have forgiven you completely, so now I invite you to walk in that same freedom. Free from resentment, free from guilt, free from the weight of carrying what was never yours to hold. When doubt comes knocking, you don't have to answer with fear. You can answer with truth. When disappointment whispers, "This is never going to change," you can say, "But God is still with me." When hopelessness says, "It's over," you can reply, "My God brings dead things back to life." That's not denial. That's faith. That's what it means to live anchored not in outcomes, but in promises. Not in what you see, but in who I am. So how do you protect your hope? You feed it with my word. You surround it with worship. You shield it with truth. And you nurture it with community. Don't isolate yourself when you're struggling. Don't walk alone through the valley. I've placed people in your life for a reason, not to fix you, but to walk with you. Even I, your savior, surrounded myself with others. I didn't design you to carry this journey by yourself. Let others speak life when your voice grows quiet. Let them pray over you when your words run out. Let them remind you of what's true when your memory feels fogged by grief. You are not failing because your heart feels fragile. You are not losing ground because your faith is trembling. You are growing, you are learning, and you are being shaped into someone whose trust no longer depends on easy answers, but on eternal truths. You are becoming someone who knows how to hold both pain and peace in the same hand, because I am in both. You are becoming someone who can cry and still believe, who can question and still walk forward, who can break and still rebuild. And I am so proud of you, not for having it all together, not for pretending you're fine, but for showing up, for staying in the story, for refusing to let the shadows swallow your light. This is the faith that shakes hell. This is the faith that moves heaven. Not the faith that never doubts, but the faith that chooses to trust anyway. And in the next part, I will walk with you into deeper healing. The kind that reaches the wounds beneath the surface. The kind that restores what no one else sees. The kind that brings lasting peace where brokenness once lived. Because I don't just mend, I make new. Healing isn't always visible. It doesn't always happen in a single moment or in a way that makes sense to others. Sometimes, healing begins quietly. In the places no one sees. In the emotions too tangled to name. In the thoughts you've learned to hide behind smiles and responsibilities. I know those places. I know the wounds you've carried for years, the ones you've learned to live with. The parts of your heart you've convinced yourself are too far gone, too broken to be whole again. But I never made you to live with permanent scars. I came not just to comfort you in your pain, but to heal you from it completely. To restore you not just to how you were, but to who you were always meant to be. You don't need to pretend with me. I see the layers. I see the history, the patterns, the moments that shaped your fears. I see the way one betrayal led to guardedness. How one loss taught you not to hope too much. How 1,000 little moments taught you to expect disappointment. And yet, here you are, still standing, still reaching, still longing to be free. And I honor that. I honor your desire to heal, even when the pain feels too complicated to unravel. I honor your bravery to feel again, to hope again, to believe that maybe, just maybe, healing is possible for someone like you. But let me tell you this. Healing isn't just possible. It's my promise. I am the God who restores the years the locusts have eaten. I'm not interested in giving you a temporary fix. I want to reach the root. I want to touch the deep places, the places you've buried, the memories you've silenced, the moments that still hold power over your perspective. I want to go there, not to reopen wounds, but to close them with truth, with mercy, with a tenderness that only I can bring. What the world wounded in you, I will not just soothe, I will transform. You've been taught to cope, to manage, to survive, but I never intended for you to stay in survival mode. I didn't design you to walk through life always bracing for impact. You were made to thrive, to live freely and fully, to wake up without fear of the next blow. That's what healing brings. Not just a lack of pain, but the presence of peace. Not just silence where sorrow used to live, but joy where you never thought it could return. Let me lead you gently through this. I won't rush you. I won't push you past what you're ready for. I know how delicate healing is. I know how trauma rewires your instincts, how hurt changes the way you see the world. But I also know how to rebuild you from the inside out. I know how to rewire your spirit so that peace becomes your new normal, so that joy becomes your default posture, so that love no longer feels dangerous, but like home. That's what I want for you, not just to be pain-free, but to be whole. Wholeness doesn't mean you'll never feel sadness again. It doesn't mean you'll never be triggered or reminded of the past. But it does mean those things will no longer define you. They will no longer hold you hostage. The memory may remain, but the weight will lift. The sting will fade, and in its place I will place purpose. A story, a testimony, and most of all, a new sense of self rooted not in what happened to you, but in what I've done for you. I know there are parts of you you're ashamed of, parts you wish you could erase, but I'm not asking you to hide them. I'm asking you to invite me into them. Your healing begins when you stop running from your brokenness and start welcoming me into it. You don't need to clean yourself up before you let me in. I do my best work in the mess. I bring light into the places that feel unworthy. I bring softness to the parts of your heart that have hardened. You can't heal what you hide, but everything you bring into my presence becomes a candidate for redemption. This is not about self-improvement. This is about surrender. Real healing comes when you stop trying to fix yourself and start trusting me to do what only I can. It's not about striving. It's about resting in my love, even when you don't feel like you deserve it, especially then, because that's when you need it the most. And my love doesn't come with fine print. It's not fragile. It's not conditional. It holds, it restores, it remakes. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too complicated. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be for me to begin this deeper work in you. And you are not alone in it. My spirit is within you, guiding you gently, speaking truth over every lie you've believed. I will surround you with people who will love you in the process, not just the outcome. I will place healing in your relationships, peace in your thoughts, rest in your body, and joy in your emotions. I will realign what trauma distorted. I will restore what time has taken. And when the healing starts to settle, when you begin to walk differently, think differently, love differently, you'll know it wasn't because of your effort. It was because you let me in. And in letting me in, you gave me permission to make all things new. Even you. And in the next part, I will take you into what it means to live from that healed place, to walk in emotional freedom, to forgive deeply, to let go completely, and to rise daily with a heart no longer heavy, but light with joy, peace, and divine purpose. Because you, my beloved, were never meant to live half-healed. You were made to be whole. Now that healing has begun, I want to show you what it truly means to live from a place of freedom. Not just freedom from sin or shame, but freedom from fear, from anxiety, from bitterness, from everything that used to hold you hostage in the past. You were never meant to carry the weight of old chains after I've already broken them. You were never meant to live halfway free, always cautious, always guarded, always one step away from joy. I came so you could be fully alive, not just spiritually, but emotionally, mentally, and relationally. Every part of you, yes, even the parts you've hidden, is included in my redemption. When I said, "It is finished," I didn't mean partial freedom. I meant complete deliverance. But living free isn't about escaping pain or pretending the past never happened. It's about walking with a new identity, knowing that your past no longer owns your present. It's about refusing to let the voice of shame speak louder than the voice of truth. It's about learning to live with an open heart again, even when you've been hurt. Freedom means you stop protecting yourself from love and start trusting that my love is enough to cover every wound. It means you don't need to control everything because you know I am in control. It means you don't need to hide anymore because there is no condemnation in me, only grace. You're not just forgiven, you're restored. You're not just redeemed, you're empowered. You're not just released from bondage, you're raised into purpose. The life I've called you to is not a cautious walk through the shadows of your past. It's a bold, fearless journey into a future designed by grace. And you are ready for it. Even if you don't feel it yet, I've already placed everything you need inside of you. My spirit lives in you, and where my spirit is, there is liberty. Liberty to think differently, to speak boldly, to love courageously, to forgive radically, to walk confidently. Forgiveness is one of the clearest signs that healing has taken root. But I know it's not always easy. I know some of the pain you've experienced was real, unfair, and deeply personal. I'm not asking you to excuse what happened. I'm not even asking you to forget. I'm asking you to let go for your own sake, not for theirs. Unforgiveness is like carrying someone else's offense as a weight on your own back. It binds your soul to the very thing that wounded you. But when you forgive, you cut that tie. You free yourself from that prison. You allow me to step into that space with justice, mercy, and healing. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the most courageous act of freedom you can choose. And when you forgive, you're not pretending nothing happened. You're acknowledging that what happened no longer has the power to define your identity or control your emotions. You're saying, I'm no longer a prisoner of the past. I'm a child of God, walking in grace, and I refuse to let darkness rule my heart any longer. That's freedom. That's strength. That's resurrection power at work in your life. Living free also means learning to let go of what you can't control. There will always be things you don't understand, questions without answers, people who walk away, situations that don't go the way you hoped. But freedom means choosing peace anyway, choosing trust, choosing joy, choosing to believe that I am still working, even when you can't see it. You don't need to manage everything. Just stay close to me, and I'll take care of what's beyond you. I've promised to work all things together for your good, and I've never broken that promise. My child, when you live free, people will notice. They'll see the difference, not because your life is perfect, but because your spirit is light, because you carry peace into every conversation, because you love without needing to be loved back, because you show grace where others expect judgment, because your joy is not circumstantial, it's unshakable. You become a living invitation to others who are still in chains. Your freedom becomes their hope. Your testimony becomes their permission to believe that maybe, just maybe, freedom is possible for them too. And make no mistake, freedom is a journey, something you choose daily, moment by moment. There will be days when the old voices try to return, when fear creeps in, when your past knocks on the door of your thoughts. But now you know the truth, and the truth sets you free. You no longer need to entertain lies or rehearse regret. You can speak truth back to the darkness. I am no longer a slave. I am free. I am forgiven. I am filled with the Spirit of the living God. I am loved. Let that be your anthem. Let it be the soundtrack of your life. And when you feel weak, return to my promises. When you feel uncertain, rest in my presence. When you feel tempted to pick up what I've asked you to release, lift your hands instead and receive peace. This is what living free looks like. Not the absence of struggle, but the presence of surrender. Not a life without wounds, but a life where wounds no longer control your steps. A life where you run boldly toward the light, knowing that nothing from your past can disqualify what I've placed in your future. And now, my child, I invite you to rise daily with a heart lightened by grace, with a mind anchored in truth, with a soul open to love. You were never meant to drag your history like chains. You were meant to dance in freedom, laugh in the presence of peace, love with the security of knowing that nothing can separate you from me. And in the next part, I will lead you into the joy of purpose, a life not only healed and free, but empowered to leave impact, to serve, to create, to walk boldly into every divine appointment I've set before you. Because freedom is not just about letting go. It's about stepping forward. Now that you've tasted healing and stepped into freedom, I want to take you even further into purpose. You were not just rescued to be restored. You were restored to be released. Not released to wander, but released into mission, into meaning, into a life that flows from my heart and touches the world around you. I didn't save you so you could stay still. I called you so you could rise. And now I'm placing in your hands something holy. Your purpose, your divine assignment, the reason you were born. You've always felt something inside you calling for more. You've sensed there was a reason behind the pain, a purpose buried in the mess, a story still unfolding. That was me, whispering to your soul, stirring your spirit, reminding you that you weren't created for a life of survival, but a life of significance. That you weren't placed here just to get by, but to pour out, to reflect heaven, to walk in the kind of bold love that transforms people just by being near them. This is your calling. To live so aligned with me that your ordinary moments become eternal echoes. Your purpose doesn't begin when you feel ready. It began when I formed you in the secret place. Before you ever made a mistake, before you ever questioned your value, before you even took your first breath, I already saw your life from beginning to end and said, this one is mine. This one is for something greater. That calling has never been revoked. It hasn't expired because of your past. It hasn't been disqualified by your doubts. It is alive. It is active. And it is waiting for you to say yes. Don't look for your purpose in comparison. Don't measure it by platforms, applause, or public recognition. Purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, faithful, consistent. It's seen in how you speak to the one who feels unseen, how you show up when no one else does, how you use your words to build, not break, how you let kindness interrupt your schedule. Every day you are surrounded by opportunities to walk in purpose, not because of what you do, but because of who you are becoming. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for availability. I'm not searching for the most impressive. I'm seeking the most surrendered. A willing heart is all I need to move mountains. You don't have to know every step of the journey. You don't need a grand vision or flawless plan. All I need is your yes, your daily, faithful yes. That's where the miracle begins. That's where impact is born. Your purpose is not just about what you build, but about who you lift. It's not about being the light. It's about carrying the light I've placed in you into dark places. It's about bringing comfort where there's pain, bringing hope where there's despair, bringing my voice where lies have lived too long. You were made to reflect me, to carry my love with such weight that it leaves people lighter, to carry my truth with such grace that it disarms defensiveness and awakens longing. And yes, there will be resistance. Purpose doesn't come without opposition. When you begin to walk in what I've called you to, don't be surprised when the enemy tries to distract, discourage, or delay you. But remember this, what I ordain, I sustain. What I birth, I bless. And I will not let you fall. Even in your weakness, I will be your strength. Even in your fear, I will be your courage. You are not walking into your purpose alone. I am going with you. I am going before you. And I am surrounding you. So be bold. Speak with the authority I've given you. Serve with the love I've placed in your heart. Create, build, move, lead, not for the sake of recognition, but because heaven is counting on you to release what I've placed within you. There are people on the other side of your obedience. People waiting for the story you carry. People who need your light, your words, your presence. You may not even realize it, but when you walk in purpose, you activate freedom in others. You become a walking testimony of what's possible when a life is surrendered. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a spotlight to matter. You don't need approval to begin. I have already approved you. I have already called you. And I am not done writing your story. In fact, some of your most purposeful days are still ahead. Days where you'll look back and say, now I see why I went through what I did. Now I see what it was preparing me for. I waste nothing. Not a moment, not a wound, not a word. Everything you've experienced has been woven into a tapestry of purpose. Let me awaken your vision. Let me stretch your faith. Let me open your eyes to see beyond your comfort, beyond your plans, beyond your fear. You were made for more, not in the way the world defines more, but in the way heaven sees it. More joy, more impact, more presence, more love. You are my vessel, my voice, my hands and feet in this world. And I trust you with this calling not because of what you've done, but because of what I've placed inside you. This is not just about what you'll accomplish. It's about who you'll become. Person of influence, person of peace, a person of unshakable purpose. So rise, not in striving, but in surrender. Not to earn something, but to release what's already been given to you. You don't need to chase purpose. You only need to yield to it. I will lead you. I will keep you. I will open doors no one can shut. Just stay with me. Trust me. Walk with me. And in the next and final part, I will reveal what it means to finish strong. Not just to start with passion, but to end with legacy. To live a life that echoes beyond your years. To leave behind not just memories, but movements. Because your story, my child, is only just beginning. You've come a long way. From brokenness to healing. From fear to freedom. From silence to purpose. And now I want to show you how to finish strong. Not with perfection. Not with fanfare. But with faithfulness. Because in the end, what matters most isn't how loud your life was. It's how faithful your heart remained. It's not about reaching the top. It's about remaining rooted. Not in applause, but in my presence. Not in outcomes, but in obedience. This is what legacy is built on. Not one moment, but 1,000 hidden yes. 1,000 quiet decisions to choose love. 1,000 unseen prayers that moved heaven. Your story isn't just for you. It never was. Your journey was always meant to be a light for others. A signpost that says, there is hope. There is redemption. There is more. Every scar you carry now shines as a testimony of my healing. Every valley you've walked through becomes proof that I never left you. And every victory you've tasted is a reminder that I finish what I start. This is the legacy I'm building through you, not a legacy of self, but of surrender. Not a life marked by success in the eyes of the world, but by impact in the unseen. You may not know how far your life will reach. You may never see all the hearts you've touched, all the chains your story has helped break, all the seeds you've planted with a simple act of kindness. But I see it. I've counted every one. And one day, when you stand with me face to face, I will show you what your obedience has done. The ripples that became rivers. The moments that became movements. The prayers that shifted generations. Your life lived in me has eternal weight. So don't grow weary in doing good. Don't slow down your love when the world grows cold. Don't silence your joy just because others don't understand it. You are not finished. Even now, I am still writing. Even in your later days, there is still more. More light to carry. More hearts to reach. More joy to give away. I'm not done with you. You may feel like you've reached the end of something, but I say it's just the beginning of something even deeper. A new level of intimacy. A new depth of wisdom. A new flow of peace. There is no retirement in my kingdom, only renewal. And when the day comes that your race is truly finished, when your breath returns to me and your journey here is complete, know this. I will welcome you home, not with questions, but with joy. Not with judgment, but with celebration. I won't ask how perfect you were. I will rejoice in how you persevered. I will wrap you in my arms and whisper, well done. You didn't give up. You kept trusting. You kept loving. You kept saying yes. That is what I long to speak over your life. That is what you were made for. You were never called to be the hero of the story. You were called to be the reflection of the one who is. And through every part of your life, the highs and lows, the breakthroughs and the breakdowns, you've become that reflection more and more. You've become someone who shines not because of what you've done, but because of who lives in you. You are my image bearer, my light carrier, my beloved child. This is your legacy. To have loved well, to have served faithfully, to have believed even when you couldn't see, to have forgiven even when it hurt, to have shown grace even when you didn't receive it, to have worshipped even with tears in your eyes, to have stayed close to me even when you didn't understand. That's what it means to finish strong. Not in your strength, but in mine. And now I release you not to settle, but to soar, to run your race with courage, to rise each morning with purpose, to speak life into broken places, to live like heaven is watching, because it is. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs people who are fully alive in me. And that's who you are now. Alive, free, sent. Go and live a life that makes others wonder what it is you carry. Let them see joy that doesn't fade, peace that can't be explained, love that doesn't quit. Let them ask questions and let your life be the answer. You don't have to shout to be heard. You only have to live true. The world will see, the world will feel, and they will be drawn, not to you, but to the one who lives in you. I am proud of you, not just for what you've done, but for who you've become. You've let me in. You've walked with me. And now you carry my presence everywhere you go. So go, not in fear, not in doubt, but in faith. And remember this always. I am with you. I go before you. I walk beside you. And I dwell within you until the very end. And then forever.
You made it, not just through a video, but through a journey back to the heart of who you are and who you were always meant to be. If something stirred inside you today, it wasn't by accident. That was God reaching into your story, inviting you to walk even closer. Don't let this be the end. Let it be the beginning of a life fully alive, fully healed, and fully surrendered. And as you go, remember, you are seen, you are chosen, you are never alone, and the one who called you is not finished yet.